in the world hides the pain in it.
Okay. Yeah, like that. You know what happened to me yesterday? I like cauliflowers and
Okay.
cauliflower. And of course, vegetables are healthy, and so is cauliflower. But I got a terrible headache. Not headache, belly ache after that.
Okay.
And then I read up because it could be the fiber. If you
Yeah.
take too much fiber, so on one hand they tell you you need fiber, your body needs fiber, and then at one point it's not the right thing. It depends.
Yes, yes. So our master says that that's a beautiful teaching, I remember, and I was laughing even when I had the fever.
Yeah,
Any 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 desire for pleasure and happiness in the world hides the pain inside. That is why
and
you
so
say you like cauliflower,
yes,
and
good.
but more of a cauliflower may cause the problem. So the problem is that I like cauliflower.
That's right.
So there,
Okay.
so there is a disliking element in it. So what is that liking? Liking is imagined pleasure in the world of people, place, situation, things. So I saw an imagined pleasure to spend an hour under the snowfall. And when you
Yeah,
moved away from such a high temperature within a period of 3 hours, the body cannot sustain that.
yeah.
But you get carried away by the imagined pleasure.
Okay.
So I remember this while returning home, and I said, "Now you are going to suffer. So enjoy,
Oh,
enjoy suffering also."
okay.
So
That's true.
so
Some
look
people.
look at the way our masters have has such a penetrating observation of our mind, the way mind works, and the way the mind causes these problems in our daily life.
Yeah.
Permanent peace and happiness. So, our master reminds us that permanent peace and happiness are not located outside, neither in a situation nor in any person in relationship or any gadget or any tool or in a house. I don't have a house. Bhavya and Siddharth bought it. So
Oh,
imagined pleasure and imagined happiness, mind projects. I will be happy in a big house. I will be happy in a snowfall. I'll be happy with a cauliflower. I will be happy with a
okay.
particular car. So our master says I have to become aware of this, where the mind is taking me to.
Don't trust your mind. That's
Don't
right.
trust your mind. That is one way, but I have to live with my mind. So I
That's
have
right.
to work on the mind. The mind should not work on me.
That's right.
That
I
is
mean,
the
you need the mind, but you have to control the mind.
You have to take over the mind. That you should be the boss of the mind. The mind should not be the boss of you.
No.
And that is the entire journey of self discovery and the mindfulness and meditation. So I was laughing at all, and throughout the week there was a suffering, but I said, oh, okay, mind, now don't complain. You have a fever. No complaint, please,
Mhm.
because you took over me just for a sake of imagined pleasure. So the master says, because once you take over the mind, that mind can help us to know the real self. So there is another problem. That is how we can easily understand. So when the mind takes over us, due to the imagined pleasure, imagined likes and dislikes. Yesterday, I had a private lesson, and the guy was telling me I hate my wife. I said, before you go further, can you give me 3 benefits of hating your wife? So he said, this is a crazy question. I said, your statement was crazy. It started from there. You loved the girl, and that is why you got married. Did you married? Did you marry the girl at the time you hated that girl? No. So who loved that girl at the time of the marriage and who hated the girl now? My mind. I said, keep your mind aside. So what happens when you keep your mind aside? You keep your ego aside. So it is the mind that creates the ego. How it creates the ego? Mind communicates by thought, and the I thought is the ego. That I thought is present in the mind. That I thought is not I. That is not the real I. It is simply an I thought. That is why you say, I love that girl at the time of the marriage, and same girl I now hate. It is the same I which is present in the mind, and that I is different from your real self. We are not talking of any cult, belief, religion. We just analyze with a discerning intellect. When we analyze with a discerning intellect, we realize this mind is causing the problem. So in our literature is full of different verses which says manaiva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayo. Mind is the cause of the bondage and the freedom. Mind is the cause of the suffering. Mind is the cause of the freedom. It means when I start working on the mind and I take that mind to freedom, and the same mind, when it works on me, I love you and I hate you. I love you at one time, I hate you at one time. And the I is the same. That I thought is the same. That is causing the problem. I love cauliflower, and then you give a reason. The same I thought gives a reason. If there is a more fiber, then there is a problem. I I thought says enjoy snowfall, so also enjoy fever.
But the solution is, for instance, you eat something you don't like. That's the perfect thing.
so so this is the problem. This is the human problem. And we start searching the solution outside. That is also an imagined solution. And there the cycle of suffering continues. From one suffering, from one suffering to the other. So it means I have created a world of my own through my imagined pleasure, imagined likes and dislikes. So this world, Buddha says, is suffering. Buddha does not say the world that outside that exists is suffering. The first principle he says, first check your mind, observe it, understand it, what it is demanding, why it is demanding, is it imagined pleasure or pain? And then you are caught in that imagined pleasure and the pain. So, what is going to happen when the belly ache will stop after a few months? Mind will say, now your fiber is not too much. Today you can take it. And it is going to happen, I can bet you.
Okay.
And it might have happened many a times before. So this world created by the imagined pleasure and the pain through the mind is the world, is the cause of the suffering. Otherwise, this beautiful world is not the suffering. Snowfall is not the suffering. Cauliflower is not the suffering. Cauliflower does not say that I am suffering, don't take me. Do you see that? So in the morning I was laughing. Thank you, mind. Now I am aware of you, how you create problem and how you create pleasure. Your pleasure is imagined. Pay attention. We are going deeper. Your pleasure is suffering. No, your pleasure is imagined, so your suffering is also imagined. How can you say that, I am feeling a belly ache and you are saying that it is imagined? Can you make out? Your belly is suffering, you are not suffering. So you have an imagined suffering that you are suffering, your belly is suffering. You are not suffering, your body is suffering. You are not suffering. You are not the body.
Right.
You see how our masters, with such a penetration. So then what if, yes, you are right, the belly is suffering, my head is suffering, but I am not the head. My eyes are suffering, but I am not the eyes. My body has a fever, but I am not. So it means there is some entity in me which is different, separate, independent, free from the pleasure and the suffering. That entity is the real self. The journey of that discovery of that entity is the journey into the mindfulness. That is the journey into awakening. That is the journey into self realization. You see, from where we started our journey, from the belly ache, from the imagined pleasure to the imagined suffering. Our mind, because of the extreme fear of the death of the body, we are obsessed that I am suffering. But the fact is that I am not suffering. So there is an imagined pleasure, so there is an imagined suffering. In one of the greatest texts of Eastern wisdom, which is known as the Gita, Gita challenges our false assumption and notion, and it questions, are you worthy of suffering?
Well,
We always say, I'm worthy of pleasure, that's why I eat cauliflower or ice cream. That's why I go to enjoy the pleasure. Master is asking, are you worthy of suffering? And it analyzes each and every statement, including your experiences of suffering, and it reaches to a conclusion that we are not worthy of suffering at all. But I claim I am worthy of suffering. That is what we say, you are living in ignorance. You have to move from ignorance to wisdom. That is what the Eastern wisdom is. You see, I'm summarizing all the basic higher principles of Eastern wisdom. Oh, so because I feel I'm worthy of suffering, but fact is that I'm not worthy of suffering because I don't know that I am not worthy of suffering. But I don't know means that I'm living in ignorance. So the master says you have to listen consistently and learn these principles to reach to a point to conclude, to realize that you are not worthy of suffering. That is what the Buddha says in its third principle, that there is a state which is absence of suffering. Which is absence of suffering. He does not say that you have removed the suffering. That state is always present. And the state that is absence of suffering is the state of mindfulness. Whatever we experience, the state of mindfulness, I feel little relaxed. Yes, I feel calm. I feel good. After a few hours, that feeling of goodness is gone. That is the beginning. We have to reach to a state where you live into the state of absence of suffering 24/7. Days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months. So, do you mean that I will not have a bellyache? Yes, you will have a bellyache, but you have a realization. Your belly is suffering, you are not. You have a fever, so you don't claim that you have a fever. It is the body undergoes a fever. Body undergoes a change, but there is something that does not undergo a change. The body is subjected to change. But deeper inside, you remember that awakening is there. That is why we say you awaken to that entity in you, which is pure consciousness, which is not at all affected by the imagined pleasure or imagined suffering. You see, we started the journey with imagined pleasure, then we came to the suffering, and we realized that suffering is also imagined. Then we came to a conclusion that I am not worthy of suffering because I identify myself with the body and the mind. I suffer because of my son has a problem. What is the difference of my son and the people of the same age living in the world? There is no difference. What is the difference then? How the mind makes the difference? Relationship. how the relationship has been, how the relationship is created. A relationship is created that I gave birth. Really? You gave a physical birth, you did not give the mental birth. Another reason, the carbohydrate, protein, and other minerals that is present in your son is also present in all the boys of the same age. Where lies the difference? The difference lies in the label, the name. So that is false notion. I am still living in ignorance. So a constant analysis, reflection helps our mind to reach to a state where it drops all the identification and the attachment, and we reach to the highest state of the consciousness, is what is the journey of the mindfulness and meditation. We need to contemplate and reflect in order to find the ultimate reality. The last point, but is not the least, it's a wonderful point. What is that Master says? Master says once you reach to that highest ultimate consciousness, you experience, you realize, you perceive the same consciousness in everyone. You see it all pervading. You don't see the difference. You see the unity. You see the oneness. You see it is all pervading. And that is where people say us that we are awakened. Because then you cannot go against. Then naturally you are full of compassion. You cannot prevent the compassion to flow. You cannot prevent the happiness to stop. Because that nature of that consciousness is happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. That is what the self-realization is. Let us close your eyes. Eyes are closed.
Oops, I'm sorry. Hold on. I have to get wipe something. My glass of water fell.
Okay,
On the wooden floor.
no worries. Have a glass of water and tea and coffee.
Oops. I'm sorry.
No, you can have glass of water, coffee, tea, and then we will do.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just have to wipe. I cannot leave the water on the floor.
Eyes are closed.
In a second. Wait. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Sorry.
Find the most comfortable place, position, and posture become aware of the surrounding. Being comfortable. We are going in a very simple way. So on one hand, we are aware of the mind and how the mind moves into the comfort. We, it is an exploratory journey. So when you are looking at the neck joint, you feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You did not create that sensation, it is natural. You did not create the comfort and the steadiness. But why it happened that steadiness came? The steadiness did not come. The mind that was running with imagined pleasure or the imagined suffering dropped. How it dropped? By moving the mind in being comfortable. You did nothing. Move the mind, just check it again, examine, explore it. You look at the shoulder joint, feeling the sensation, natural. You did not create it, comfort and steadiness. So when you move the mind, you become aware. That awareness and attention continued, that dropped the impressions which carry forward the imagined pleasure and which we are not aware at this time. So, what happens during the day? The mind carries forward the same impressions of imagined pleasure and imagined suffering, and then and then it reflects. Then we feel, no, I'm not feeling good, I'm feeling good. This is what happens during the day. Why? Because there is an absence of the state of mindfulness. You become aware of the entire body from the top of the head to the toes, sensation in the entire body. Now your mind may question because of ignorance that I did not feel that sensation before. Because mind was outward moving, because mind was busy with imagined pleasure and the imagined suffering. But I did not notice it. Yes, because we live unconsciously, habitually, impulsively, instinctively. Oh, so experience of the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now being carefree, free from the cares of all the mind cares, which results either into imagined pleasure, then we continue to make an effort, or it experiences the imagined suffering. So, in order to escape from the imagined suffering, we still make an effort. For imagined pleasure, we make an effort. That is why we have millions and millions of thoughts. And that is the reason mind is wandering. That is the reason the mind identifies with the thought, feeling, emotions. What should we do? So just watch, the thoughts are coming and going. Do not identify. Getting identified with the thought means the mind is working on you. You continue to witness the thoughts are coming and going like the traffic on the road, and you are standing across it, means that you are working on the mind. Simple way, easy way to understand. What I'm doing, the mind asks, and tell the mind you're not doing anything, you're just watching, observing, feeling. Any emotion comes, any thought comes, and it goes away. Do not hold any thought you like. Do not fight with any thought that you dislike. Let the thought come, go, stay, leave. You are not at all concerned. It is just like you are standing across the road and watching the traffic. You are just watching. Watching means seeing. Seeing means perception. Perception means no action. You're not doing anything. Because if you engage the mind in doing, it digs all its impressions from the past, and then same problem of imagined pleasure or imagined suffering. You are already a great seeker, so you need not to worry. I need not to worry to give you some active steps to calm down the mind. You're just watching. The thoughts are different and separate from you. The feeling is different and separate. When the thought and the feeling and the emotions are separate from you, you see them, you perceive them differently. Now, now in that state of being comfortable, being carefree, let us look at the head and the neck, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Let us look at the head and the neck. You are looking, you are not doing anything. You are perceiving, you are becoming, you are aware. You're aware of the head and the neck, and you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The right arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You're looking at the left arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You're looking at the middle portion of the body from the shoulder down to the waist, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You're looking at the right leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Here, looking at the left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You're looking at the entire body, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Looking at the entire body, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. In that state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, in that state of being carefree, being comfortable, being in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, you keep looking at the breath. But if I see the breath and I see the breath is changing, going in and out, that becomes a big challenge. Because the breath is changing and I want to continue to be aware or continue to see the breath. So my mind maintains the status quo of seeing of the changing breath. That brings the transformation to the mind. That is what the breath mindfulness is. So every breath is different. Every breath goes in, you are aware. Every breath comes out, you are aware. And you continue to perceive the breath. when we continue to live in the state for weeks and months and years, the time comes, we reach to a state of realization. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I feel very good. And
Good.
but there is an opinion regarding meditation and mindfulness that deep down having a gratitude, having feeling of gratitude,
Yeah.
that's something which is very important
Yeah.
to keep within you.
Yeah. So there are two aspects of it. When we do not reach to the highest state of mindfulness, we fabricate a sense of gratitude.
Yeah, I
We
see.
so when we fabricate, it comes and goes. Are you really grateful? If I ask you by shouting 3 times, you will say, what the heck you are talking about? So you lose the sense of gratitude. Why you lose the sense of gratitude? Because your mind is still living in ignorance.
Yeah, yeah,
But when the mind lives in wisdom of realizing deep inside that you are different from the body and the mind complex, that consciousness is always lives in the state of gratefulness.
yeah,
Why? Why? Because because I cannot exist without the sun. I never think of it. I'm totally ungrateful to the sun. My existence of body mind complex is because of the sun, because of the space, because of the air, because of the water, because of the earth, because of the plants, because of the animals.
mhm,
Even the vulture has a big role in my existence. How can you say? I never met vulture in my life.
okay.
So our master says, master says, I'm giving a modern interpretation that vulture and the hyenas are scavengers.
Right.
Think they are not present on the earth. Those flesh will rotten. It will create 100 different types of COVID virus. We should have been extinct much before. So once I understand, then there is a sense of gratefulness. Yes, gratitude is there. So that gratitude should come from understanding, realizing that no, this sun which rises has a role. I'm connected to the sun. Gratitude means that I'm connected to you.
Mm.
Because of the ego, we remain disconnected.
Mhm.
Yes. So gratefulness, and then out of the gratitude comes the compassion. So you are right. So, but if we fake our gratitude